You're listening to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show with Shirley Yance, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show. I'm Shirley Yance, clinical hypnotherapist, advocate, and mental health first responder with Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy and Wellness. Thank you for coming to the show today, where you can come as you are and leave as you want to be. So, have you ever wished that you could more freely start a new habit or just get back to feeling like a better you? We can talk. Though I do specialize working with the LGBTQIA community, I welcome and work with everyone and would love to see you. If you need help, I'm always here for you. So you can always book online at whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com. So one quick note, as of September 13th, you'll be able to hear my show live on the Hypno Fairy Godmother radio show Facebook page. And it'll still be at 3 o'clock. It'll still be live. So don't forget to update your settings. Certain things I've decided to make a couple changes. So that's one of them. Now, let's get the show started the way we always get the show started. So I want to make sure that you are in your nice, safe place, your comfortable place. You're not driving. You're not working on a project. You're not working with your kids. This is something that, that you can do. And in case you decide to close your eyes, everything will be great. So the first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath. Hold it in. And exhale with a smile. Now, part 2. I love part 2. I love part 2. So let's do part 2. So first thing I want you to do is wiggle your toes. Come on, wiggle your toes. Wiggle. Inside your shoes, outside your shoes. I don't care. It's kind of warm today, so I'm going outside my shoes. I am a barefooter to go and all the way back. Now, let's wiggle your butt. Come on. I can see you do it. Wiggle your butt. Squeeze those cheeks together. Come on. Wiggle. Because you can't do this. You absolutely cannot do this without smiling or telling somebody else to wiggle their buns without smiling. It's one of the greatest things that I get to tell you every week is to wiggle your buns and squeeze in your cheeks. It's fun. So the last thing we're going to do is, we're going to take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to say an affirmation, which we will actually be talking more about today. So I usually like to say things like, I've got this. Everything's going to be okay. Sometimes you just need to be able to make it through the day. Sometimes you just need to be able to make it through the next hour. And that's fine. Just something short and sweet that gives you the encouragement that you need. So just that little short affirmation. If you've got a little extra time, roll your shoulders, roll your waist, maybe your neck back and forth, roll your hands, whatever you need to do. Because in that short amount of time, you have now relaxed and loosened up everything from your toes to your nose and a little bit higher. Perfect. I love that. Some days we just need to relax a little bit more. We need to roll things. If you're stuck at a desk all day, then the best thing you can do is every couple hours, get up, get a drink of water, roll your shoulders, roll your waist, wiggle your toes, wiggle your buns. Nobody's going to see you unless you make a big deal about it. Some people do, some people don't. It's up to you. So, take that time. Take that time to relax. Take that time to loosen things up. This is what you need to do for you. And it's all about what you need to do for you, because it's all about your mental health and your mental wellness. So please do that. Today, I would also like to thank, as a sponsor for the show, Interfanatic Digital Marketing for sponsoring. They have been the internet fanatics upgrading performance since 1999. Interfanatic will be there and have had the answer for over 20 years. They have been the reliable source for websites and digital marketing. Interfanatic runs runs lean, and delivers high value because that's how they keep you nice, happy, successful clients. That's Inner Fanatic. So find the Internet Fanatics on innerfanatic.com. And I'd also like to thank AnnieShirley.com, who have a unique Kickstarter going on to promote her new Hubble Bubble Tiny Toes books, What's a Chakra, and Hubble Bubble Zodiac for Kids. So all you have to do is go on Kickstarter.com, look up Hubble Bubble Zodiac, and you'll be able to find it right there. So check it out. Now, today, I thought I'd talk to you about this because I talk about it all the time, about saying affirmations. So today I thought, you know what, let's talk about what is an affirmation or what's a mantra. In this particular case, I tend to say mantra and affirmation. So I tend to say them about the same. So if you hear me say mantra one point and affirmation at the other, don't worry about it. I tend to look at them as about the same. So you can too, not a big deal. So from the abundance of mantras, what is a mantra or an affirmation? Well, a mantra is a sound or word that's being represented frequently in your mind, and it can either be just saying it in your mind or you can say it out loud, that results in the silencing the constant noise and chatter of your thoughts when your mind just starts going a little more crazy. The word mantra in Sanskrit means man means the mind, and tra means an instrument. So it's actually a mind instrument. Now, the second part of the tra can also mean free. So, in fact, a mantra is a tool to free your mind, which makes total sense. For a lot of people, mantras or affirmations are of great help. I tend to do them daily. I've noticed that for me and a lot of my clients that I have come in, they are of great help to just, like I said, to calm your mind of all the crazy chatter that's going on. And if you discover a mantra that is actually connects with you, then you can benefit from, you can either chant it over and over again, or maybe say it over and over again. Because saying a mantra doesn't just connect people with their divinity. And by that, I mean their inside divinity, but it also helps in establishing a connection with your subconscious. And during hypnosis, we work with the subconscious, which is why, like I said, I love using affirmations. Verbal repetition of these mantras can also increase your internal vibration. And as a hypnotherapist, anything that we can do to ease your subconscious and raise you up a little bit, is perfect. And I work with my clients to help them come up with mantras or affirmations that work for them in their situations that they're dealing now. This is one of the things that we go over when you come in or when I talk to you, is we want to find something that actually works for your situation now, because sometimes mantras can kind of be in general, and sometimes we need to be very specific depending on what the situation is. And mantras, chanting the mantras or saying them can help you stay focused and centered in whatever your mission or goal that you're trying to achieve or pursue might be. The plan of using them invokes specific quality of light, peace, and joy. So it helps slow everything down. I always talk about, slowing your heart rate, slowing your respiratory system. And by doing these, they help, with you feeling a little sense of peace and light and maybe joy. Um, if the real inner essence of the mantra that you've chosen or the mantras that you've chosen, you'll be able to make your meditations more soulful and a little more powerful, which is what we would all want, I'm guessing. In another explanation, mantras are an energy-based sound. Even if you're doing a low vibration, it's still an energy-based sound. And the metaphysical tradition of the Indians that have started, that where a lot of this came from, explains that our bodies are composed of 5 basic elements, and one of them is actually sound or vibration. So you have your, the other things that you're made up of, but one of those 5 elements that are part of your core and part of your being is actually sound. So even if you don't understand mantras, they are definitely not meaningless. No vocal expression is without meaning. And any person's subconscious mind, we're back to the subconscious mind, can actually find solutions through these meditations as well as saying your mantras, when you start reciting them. And when repeated, you repeat that same frequency over and over again while meditating, it goes through your mental state. And even if you're saying it silently, it's still helping with your consciousness. Some people think that you need to chant really loud, or you need to be in a group to chant mantras, or even that you need to say them out loud. When I tell you to take a deep breath and exhale with an affirmation, I never say your affirmation out loud. I just say your affirmation. So don't think that you have to, sing loud or chant loud or anything like that. This is between you and your affirmation or your mantra. The mantra is a tool for power and a tool for power. And these words and sounds are formidable, and they definitely have, they're definitely ancient, but they still work. And in the most literal form, a mantra means, remember, to free your mind. So the tools being used by your mind in order to free them from all the craziness that's going on. Everyone wants to live their life according to their dreams and wants, and everyone wants to be happy and have their happily ever after. But sometimes you feel like things are kind of going in the wrong direction, or that maybe your life's journey isn't exactly where you would want it to be. And these times can be the coldest part of your life, and you suddenly feel like, okay, I need to make a change. This is a good time to make a change. But how can you change your life in an instant? Well, that's kind of impossible, because most of the time people don't know where they want to start. If you want to make a change, that's great. You've got that down. I want to make a change. But if you don't know where to start, this is actually a place to actually start. And as a person, you should know that wanting to make a change in a different aspect of your life, you need to know that, this is going to be hard, but it will lead you to the realness, and it will lead you to happiness. But you've got to be committed. Wanting to change is normal and it's not unusual, but making the change, that's where we get into it. People can't actively work in changing and improving their other people's lives until they change their own. So when people can't change because they don't know exactly how, and if they know how, they have a hard time getting started. So that's where we're going to take this from here, is that, okay, so you want to make a change. This is good. But how do I do it? Where do I start? And sometimes people think that they can help other people make changes, but they haven't actually done anything to work on themselves. And I always tell you that you have to work on yourself first before you can actually help anybody else, because this is about you. This is absolutely about you first. Not that you won't help other people, not that you won't help friends, family, kids, whatever, but you have to be able to help you first. So you need to make that full commitment to doing your change. And commitment is hard. And a lot of us aren't really entirely committed to change. And a lot of times you stop at every obstacle. And we've all done this. We've decided this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make these big changes. But you run into an obstacle and you go, okay, that's not going to work. And then I'm going to get started again. Different obstacle. Nope, that's not going to work either. So, this is where sometimes it's good to have someone like me, a hypnotherapist or another type of therapist. These are, like I said, these are things that I work on with my clients to help you set your goals and figure out, what you need for your situation. Because even if you're trying to help somebody, your situation and their situation are totally different. Think about that. You can't change somebody's situation and go, okay, well, this is what I did. If, if you don't know, if you don't have the same situation. And before changing your life, you need to know what you really want, because that is the best pursuit of happiness. Is you have to know what you really, really want. If you don't know your ultimate dreams, how will you be able to make those changes in your life? Remember, everything you do in your life is a choice, and everything you don't do in your life, that's also a choice. Um, that's a little deep for some people, but it's true. The choices that you make, positive or negative, you made those choices and you made those decisions. Now you can start towards correcting, you can start towards fixing, but know that you actually made those changes. Um, just throwing that out there. Mantra, when you're chanting mantras, it's also associated with the attraction of abundance in, your work, your finances, especially with finances. Most people have a hard time parting with their money. Makes sense. But if you really want, but then they really want or need financial freedom. And if you're an entrepreneur, like some of us are, you should be willing enough to invest in your business as well as yourself, both professionally and personally, in certain types of development. So you can't be afraid to take a little bit of a chance. You have to be able to feel confident enough that you believe in what you're doing and you believe in what you're saying, to keep going. You have to have that confidence in yourself. And it's critical to have a great frame of mind and thinking, because there's actually a distinction from the strategy of making money, let's say, in your business, and having money generally. Two totally different things. And there's no secret to it, but in the terms of understanding on how you feel and how you think about it and how you actually earn your money or grow your business. Being wealthy and being rich, two totally different things. So, thinking and feeling from a wealthy standpoint, will help you take action and will help you feel like you're getting there. So, if you think in a positive, um, like I have abundance sort of way, you'll start believing it and you'll start working towards it. Additionally, if you have mantras in place that, those are the ways to transform your life. Think of that. You're not just, it's all about positive thinking basically, and how you look at it. There's a big difference, like I said, between being rich and being wealthy. There's a huge difference between, being successful and, trying over and over and over, and how you feel about yourself in those sorts of situations. And the I won't compete, I will create mindset is also so important. Sometimes you just need to unplug from the matrix. Think about that. Just unplug. You'll find that opportunities around you, you'll find more and more, and you'll discover that they're limitless. And there's more for you to discover outside your little box than inside. And you don't need to compete with everybody. All you need to do is create bigger and better things for you. Mm-hmm. The right mindset, though, is the key to the success. You can get unstuck and you'll grow every single day if you just do this. You don't, in battling for your future, you'll also need to have strategies that help you get into that perfect mindset. So, whatever your plans and goals in your life are, you need to know that successes are fought in your mind. We're back to that positive, negative. Everything that, your goals that you set and how you do it, if you aren't in the right mindset, and you feel like you're constantly competing with the next person instead of creating what's best for you, you have a much harder time in doing that. You have a much harder time in succeeding. So, if you believe your doubts and hindrances, or if you're only focusing on your failings, success is almost impossible to achieve. And it's time, sometimes you just have to take some action, take charge, do it the right way, and take the steps towards your personal goals. Set your mind, stay focused, and just go on the right path. Just like with the mantras, you need to set your mind, focus on your words, and achieve your maximum benefits. So, here's some things that you need to do if you're going to do this. So, we've got some steps. These are always posted, so don't worry about that if you can't jot things down. And you can always listen to them later because my show is always on replay on the Hypno Fairy Godmother Facebook page and on my YouTube page. So don't ever worry about that. But the first thing you need to do is to get clear. Just get clear. Knowing yourself is the hardest part, though. It's easier to offer opinions, like I said, to others about different things, but when it comes to you, it's a bit murky, and it depends upon your self esteem. You can undervalue yourself or be so full of yourself when you're seeing reality. Knowing who you really are and what really motivates you, what your passion is, when you start helping, and then you can start helping other people, maybe. But this is all about starting with, like I said, starting with you. The next important thing to do is set your goals. Establish and setting your goals is the best way to become a successful person. You establish your ultimate goals in your life and be equipped with courage, confidence, and determination to make sure that that path is really clear. The next thing you need to do is check your personality and your attitude. You're human. This is a fact. We are all human. And you have feelings that can change frequently. They can change daily, hourly, however you work. And you have to keep the right mindset. You can't afford living with your feelings. Trust me, you can't afford living with those feelings sometimes. More often than not, your feelings are really unreliable, and they can also lead you away or lead you astray, disabling what you really want. Your goals, and they can lead you away, and so you feel like complaining, and they set up the walls. And just like mantras, you won't discover its real essence and its benefits if you don't possess the right attitude towards the words. So even if you have a great mantra that you've come up with that you think sets you, if you don't really believe it, then you got to check the attitude, you got to check the personality, make sure that it's right, make sure that you're going in the right direction. And the last thing, the most important thing, I think, is you need to take action. Action is the most powerful motivation that will help you keep going. It's better that you start on something and adjust things as you go along instead of just keep planning, taking notes, and never really taking them into action. Make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. If you make a mistake, just pick yourself up, readjust, and try again. But always move forward. Always move forward. Even if it's just the little tiniest step ever. As long as you're moving in the forward position, you're going to be okay. And I have had to deal with this personally in so many situations because sometimes you overthink things and you have a million notes and you have pages and pages and pages of things and you never start. And the problem is that you never start. You have to keep moving forward, and you have to actually just get up one day and just go, this is it. I'm tired of sitting here, and set your mind to it and go for it, because The biggest thing that you have to deal with are positive and negative thoughts. People have thousands of thoughts a day, and these thoughts and their nature will make up of your outlook in your life. They totally will. How you think about things, how you think about yourself, how you think about how you grew up, maybe. And this is the same as it comes with mantras or affirmations. If a person if they have negative thoughts about themselves, then chances are that person's not going to benefit from any of the mantras, like I was talking to you about earlier. But if a person has positive thoughts about the mantras, then you're going to keep moving forward. You know, you're going to keep getting benefits, and you're going to keep thinking more positively, and you're going to convince yourself, and your self-esteem will go up. It all depends upon the person's thoughts and beliefs. So both negative and positive are essential as a person, because you're allowed to have negative thoughts. You're allowed to have positive thoughts, but it's vital to use them properly. So don't, if you're somebody that always thinks positively all the time, and you have a friend that maybe is lacking in that positivity, or, you think that you really want to help them, sometimes you can be overwhelming if you're that person that's like, let's go, let's go, let's go, never taking into consideration maybe what that other person's going through and maybe why they think negatively. One of the things that I do when I have people come in or when I have an appointment is that, we try to find out maybe what's holding you back. That's important. So part of every session is kind of finding out what's holding you back. Is there something holding you back? Is there something you need to release or get rid of? And besides, seeing a hypnotherapist, it's also about, convincing yourself that this is what you need. But we try to work with you or I try to work with you actually, to help you get past those blocks. So even if you do have more of a negative aspect to your life, let's see why, and let's see if we can help get rid of it. Because creating a positive thought will produce a holistic benefit to your body. It's like overcoming the limits of belief to your good health. If you think you're healthy, and you think, that a lot of it is the power of positive thinking. They call it placebo, but a lot of it is the power of positive thinking. And in spite of challenges in life, it motivates and encourages people to face everything that's going ahead, and you can handle anything. So if you react positively and repeat positive ideas over and over again, you'll begin to believe that they're true, even if they're not based in any reality or any facts. This is how negative thinking eats somebody's self-esteem. So if you just think negatively, it's going to eat into your self-esteem. And, so that's why you want your mantras to be you want them to be positive. You want them to help you move forward and to give you that feeling inside of you that expands the growth and the self-esteem inside of you. But if you do have negative feelings, here are a couple things that you can do that I love to kind of counteract them and kind of make them not as important or not as draining. That's the word I'm looking for. Not as draining as they might normally be. So step one is identify your situation in your life and how you want to change it and why you have these negative thoughts. Is there something specific? Why do you have this negative thought if you really want to move forward and change? Now, next thing, write some negative statements that you usually repeat to yourself inside of your head, confronting your own negative self statement. It's a great way of changing the negativity. So once you've written it down and you've looked at it and you're like, oh, I really do say that to myself. You're actually confronting it. You're not putting it aside. And it's not like you have to tell everybody. This is something you do for you at all. This is not a big online thing. This is something that you're doing for you. Now, use encouraging language to focus the strengths of your perceived weakness in order to turn the negative thoughts into a positive thought. So, start thinking of positive words that are the exact opposite of the negative words that you wrote down. So, low self-esteem would be high self-esteem, you know, no ego, high ego, failure, success. Just start coming up with words that counteract what you wrote down as a negative thought and a negative, the way you feel things negatively. Wow. Now, choose one or two meaningful positive statements and make them into a short little tiny mantra for you. So, and what you need to do is prevent using words like must, will, should, or might. Those are not words that you want to use because those bring up the negativity. So you don't should, you don't must, you don't might. So when you're making your mantra, don't use any clarifying words that lead to a negative action. A mantra that's positive and succinct is much better for you to remember and may have a higher impact. And it's important to not make some huge, long mantra that you're not going to be able to remember. So it's important to make them shorter, a little more succinct, so that you can remember it. Just a few words that lead to that positive outcome that you're looking for. Now, and then repeat this mantra every time you consider yourself in a stressful situation, or if you find yourself doing negative self-talk. So if you start saying maybe bad things about yourself in your head or out loud, then remember what that mantra is, that positive statement that you made for yourself, and start telling yourself that. And what it'll do is instead of you rolling down the hill like this, you'll start rolling back up it. Isn't that great? Start rolling. This is an important thing because I know for a fact that it works. Sometimes in hypnosis, we call it the energy ball, where if you do have something that's negative that's happening inside of you, what you'll do is I'll tell somebody to start rolling the energy ball, the horrible energy ball, and everything that they want to say, and put all the bad things that they've been thinking or hanging on to or dwelling on. And then all of a sudden, start rolling that ball the other direction. And those negative words and those negative feelings just start shooting out of that energy ball. I love using that one and you can use it at home. It's not a secret, not my family secret. So, if you do start feeling those negative energies coming up, the important thing is to start saying the positive and say the positive more than the negative, and just start shooting those negative energies and those negative thoughts right out your system. It can be shot out through an energy ball, through the top of your head, through the bottom of your toes. Just find some way to squish them out. And sometimes doing it mentally is better for some people. And sometimes having great big actions and using your arms or your body to just get all of those theatrics, even if you need to use theatrics, use all of that to just shoot out those negative thoughts. And, to have the absolute benefits of chanting and the mantras, a person's mind must be focused and cleared. So if you're going to start doing a little bit of chanting or a little bit of these constant, consistent meditations, maybe do the shooting out the negative energy, do that first. Because if it's still something you're hanging on to, you're not going to be able to work past that. So you have to get rid of the negative, and very much get rid of the negative before you can start working on the positive side of you. Um, you need to keep your mind in the present. We've talked about mindfulness, and chanting will help you sometimes develop mindfulness. Mindfulness is where you're at the present. So you're in the present. You're not thinking out here and you're not thinking out here. You're right in the center where you need to be and where you want to be. And that's one of the things that I definitely teach and show people is how to connect themselves with mindfulness. It's kind of a catchy word these days, mindfulness, but it has a very important meaning because you need to keep yourself, and it's a matter of keeping yourself focused and centered and being where you want to be and being where you need to be. So that's a good way to start developing your chanting or your mantras um, will start to help you find that mindfulness and that center that you may need in your being. um, I started using mindfulness about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's not easy. It's not to get yourself centered. It's your brain is so used to being everywhere and doing everything all at the same time, and your synapses are going, and you think you're doing really well with meditation, and you think you're doing really well with your mantras, and the next thing you know, you're thinking about what I have to do next, or why did I do that earlier today? And it's not easy. I never tell people that it's easy. I never, because it's work. It's like any other way that you're trying to make yourself healthier and help with your mental health and mental wellness. Is it takes work. It takes practice. You can't do it once and give up hope. So, when you have a mantra that's, a word or a phrase that helps aid in your concentration, use it during the meditation, and it's believed that it has the power, because it does. It has this power of expanding your awareness as well as increasing your connection with divine spirituality. And when I say divine spirituality, I'm not talking about any particular religion, god, goddess. No, it's just your internal divine spirituality. It helps you find you, it helps you find the best of you. That's what I mean by that. So before I start getting comments about, what are you talking about? Divine spirituality. You haven't talked about that before. No, but that's part of using the mantras and the affirmations. That's one of the things that it does to help you grow inside and help you realize more of who you are, and helps you grow as more of who you are. And when you use mantras in conjunction with a tone, and it's like, and you repeat that tone out loud, and it just being really steady, it helps you become more aware of what's going around you. And with continued practice, and you have, like I said, you have to practice, your voice will actually deepen. So if you do it as a chant or a hum, your voice can actually deepen down to where you feel a complete tingling sensation come all the way through your body. And it's attained when the energy centers or your chakras are clear, and resonant sounds create that sense of peace and clearance through your whole body. Now, I've taught several classes on how to clear your chakras and how chakra alignment work. I even have a book out now about, teaching your kids about how to, what their chakras mean. And, and I've had as many adults love it as and understand actually what their chakras are than before they did. And I'll be teaching more classes in the future on chakra balancing. So, keep in touch. And it is another thing that I teach my clients. So if you come in as a client or we connect as a client, that's one of the things that we also discuss is chakra balancing, as well as as well as mantras and affirmations. So remember the basics of chanting. These are important basics. Choose your mantra over the things that we've talked about. Short, succinct, positive. Don't put clarifiers on it. Don't say you will, you must, you should, you have. Just don't do that. Just something I da da da. Or today I, just something that you can remember. The important thing is that you can remember it to do it. Now, you can utter these words under your breath. You can sing them as a tune. You can hum them. You can sing and chant them. Or you can just say them to yourself silently. There is no set rule. None. Some days, if I'm alone, I may start humming. A lot of times, if I'm alone and I need to concentrate, or if I'm not alone and I need to concentrate, I may just start saying them in my head. Without like spacing out, but start just slowly saying, whatever the mantra is that I need. I have several that I've gotten to the point to where I can bring them up and need depending on what my situation is. And here's the hard part. Every day, both morning and evening, chant this mantra for 108 times. I know that sounds like a lot. It's not. And if you can't do it morning and evening, if you have to fit it in during your lunchtime, that's fine too. That's one of those things that you can do during your lunch that's for you. You get outside. Outside is the best. If you can do this on a bench, outside of a tree, in an outside where you're getting the vitamin D and you're getting the fresh air and you're saying these mantras, and you don't have to look like, you're spaced off into somewhere so people are just kind of looking at you weird. But especially, it's important 2 times a day, and you need to do this for at least 40 consecutive days. So the reason why I say that is it's been said, and I do believe this, that it takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days to make a habit. So I'm just breaking it down in the middle and saying 40. Because what that'll do is that'll put that into your routine, and you won't even have to think about it anymore. You'll just get up in the morning, say your mantras while maybe you're getting ready for work. And when you get home, maybe say them as you're getting ready for bed. You don't have to sit still while you're saying them. Now, I believe that if you have a quiet place, it doesn't take that long. It may sound like it, but it does not take that long to say a little short mantra 108 times. And one of the things that you might do is the first time or a separate time, whatever your mantra is, say it, time yourself, how long it takes to say whatever it is 108 times, and clock it. And that way, if you need to and you are running short of time, let's say you do it during your lunchtime or a break time, then you can set your alarm on your phone or watch or whatever for this amount of time. And that whole time, just say that mantra. It'll work at night and in the morning too, so you don't lose track of time, because sometimes you get so enveloped in what you're doing and it means so much that you tend to forget what you're doing. So crazy town, but you do tend to forget what you're doing. So timing it that way, you don't have to count every time. You just know how many minutes it takes to say that many times. Mantras can be anything that you choose. I promise. They don't have to be the Sanskrit mantras. They just have to be a sound or a meaning that has to do with you, and it means something to you, which you can repeat over and over until they become one with your conscious, one with your subconscious, and clears your mind from its regular chaotic state. That's the most important thing that you can get out of this. And these will elevate you. And, sometimes you get into that weird altered consciousness where you kind of lose track of time. There's nothing bad about saying it more than 108 times. It's just that's a really good, that's a nice medium. Um, and one of the things that if you can't think of one right off the bat, I'm going to give you one. So, how about this? One of the most famous mantras that people use and they will continue to use is called the I am inhalation, the at peace exhalation. So, I am at peace. I am at peace. I am at peace. And then just do that 105 more times. But just keep going. But like I said, see, that's a great example. Short, concise, exactly what you need um, to get yourself going. And over the years, people have been using mantras and affirmations and have been doing mantra meditation. And it will continue to grow and it will be just as popular as it has been. And it'll be passed down. Maybe you're the first person to try this, and then you realize how much it calming and peaceful it makes you feel. You pass it on to your kids, grandkids, whatever, and you just continue it. It's a personal thing, but it's also a powerful thing. So, you know, the ultimate goal of any mantra is to realize again the divine nature and your supreme self, that perfect you, that you want to be, and that you wish you could have become, and that you're working on becoming. It doesn't mean that you'll ever hit there. It just means that as long as you keep working, you will get there. So listen, attune yourself, and continue the qualities that are emerging within yourself as you practice your mantras, and keep working at it and keep working on yourself always. So, by doing these things and your commitment to keep learning and respecting you, it's vital to your overall personal wellness. Remember, like I've been telling you, mentalhealth.gov describes mental health as your emotional, psychological, and social well being. And that's what all of these do. And so, with some of these suggestions, I hope you can learn a way to smile when sometimes, smiling's not that easy. And it'll help you grow inside, and it will hopefully give you that peace that you're looking for. And how, always take note of your mental health. Always take note of where you're at in your mental space, because that's what it's about. It's about helping you with your mental state. It's about helping you with your mind and your body and your wellness and your mindfulness and your well-being. And it's all the things that I hope you've gotten out of this show for right now. And I hope that it's, that you've learned some things, and that you've, come out of this as a fun, you've had some fun. I'm always going to continue to tell you to wiggle your butt and wiggle your toes. That's just who I am. So get used to it. Again, thank you. I would like to thank, again, Inner Fanatic Digital Marketing, upgrading performance online since 1999. Inner Fanatic will be there for the answer and has been for over 20 years. Inner Fanatic is the reliable source of websites and digital marketing. So find the Internet Fanatics at innerfanatic.com. And I would also like to thank AnnieShirley.com, who have that unique Kickstarter going on to promote her 2 new Hubble Bubble Tiny Toes books, the What's a Chakra, like we talked about, and Hubble Bubble Zodiac for Kids. Check them out today. Just go to Kickstarter, look up Hubble Bubble Tiny Toes or Hubble Bubble Zodiac, and you can check it out. So thank you for listening today. It's been my pleasure to even be a small part of your journey. And I hope it's been calming and soothing, at least a little bit. And mostly, I hope that wherever you are, you're leaving a little bit more of who you want to be. I'm Shirley, clinical hypnotherapist, activist, and mental health first responder with Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy and Wellness. I work together with my clients and maybe you as a team to find the best way to get you back to feeling more like you without fear, without habit, pain, mentally or physically. And I work online, so wherever you are, I'll always be there for you. I realize hypnotherapy isn't for everyone, so let's see if we can work together. Again, I'm Shirley, hypnotherapist, clinical hypnotherapist. And if you'd like to book a consultation with me, you can always do that on whisperingzen.com. It has been my sincere pleasure to help you today and every day. And remember, take a nice deep breath, hold it, and exhale with a smile. Thanks for tuning in. Tell your friends about the show, and I will see you again on September 13th on the Hypno Fairy Godmother page on Facebook. Have a wonderful day.
You're listening to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show with Shirley Yance, only on LA Talk Radio.